Hey everyone, Codex here. I hope you're doing fantastic. So today what we're gonna do is take a look at the crypto market and also Bitcoin, and we'll be discussing when this downtrend will truly come to its end, because your average investor still doesn't understand what's happening now, and I'm still noticing these kind of tweets with thousands of likes everywhere, and these are very misleading. And so today I'll break everything down to you so you can understand why the market is performing this way and what we should expect next. So we all know that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency asset are going through a rough time, and as of now BTC is down about 38% this year so far, and the total crypto market cap is down roughly 45% since the start of January. And despite all of this, we are still seeing people, and of course influencers, calling for new all-time highs, or some are even saying that this is just a small step down in the road before we trend higher, which is totally wrong in my opinion. And so let me explain why. So the first thing we need to understand before even mentioning Bitcoin is how other assets such as gold, ETFs or stocks are behaving. And we can see in here that the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are down somewhere between 18 and 27% so far this year. And listen, just by looking at the Nasdaq and the S&P, you can understand that things are very bad and that this downtrend will last longer. You can't really look at these rates and say that we are in a bull market, or that this is just a small bump in the road, or that we've got this magic lengthening cycle theory that will save us. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Since 2012, the Nasdaq has had 2 red years where it yielded a negative ROI. We've got 2 negative annual returns with the Nasdaq in the last 10 years, in the last decade. And in these 2 years, Bitcoin has also given us a horrible return. And so don't expect a miracle from it now. Bitcoin is actually very correlated to the stock market, at least on the macro scale. And we had a full dashboard since 2012 on the Patreon account of how these assets are simply correlated to each other. But your average investor will never understand this. Look, short term and on the daily time frame, yeah, there could be some deviation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, for example, but long term, these three usually move in the same direction. And if you look at the 2021 numbers, for example, you can see that these three performed very well. And so you can understand that as long as the stock market is getting obliterated and destroyed, BTC will just keep losing its value to the US dollar. The other important thing is inflation, and this is very important to talk about in my opinion. I've said this many times already, and it became obvious since last year when inflation hit that 6% mark in October. Throughout history, whenever inflation has went above 6%, a recession ended up happening. Now, there is an exception in the past, but 6% is the rate where there is usually no coming back. On the 10th of November of last year, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics announced that the CPI of October was 6.2%, and just a day prior to that, BTC has found its market cycle top at $69,000, and that marked one of our first bearish videos back then. And so you can see that this doesn't require a master degree or a PhD in economics or in business from Harvard. This is just common sense. One day before the horrible CPI release, BTC found its top. Do you think that this is pure coincidence? I don't think so. And you can see that this isn't related to the conflict of Ukraine like the news wants you to think. Yeah, that has its impact, but the main reason that started this crash is inflation and supply chain issues, and I personally expect inflation to just remain high. Look, I do honestly see a 75 basis point rate hike next, and I've said this like 3 months ago when everyone was celebrating that first 25 BPS rate hike. And you will slowly realize that things are actually worse than we've thought. Inflation has in fact decreased in the last month, and it went from 8.5 to 8.3%, but it's still very high in order for us to see any real expansion up. Another thing I want to mention, and this is quite a big debate that nobody knows its true answer or the real outcome, but hear me out. There is this talk that MicroStrategy will never sell, and so everything is perfect despite being down 60% in just 7 months. Everyone will tell you that as long as MicroStrategy are in this space, things will remain perfect, but that's not true, because MicroStrategy will be facing margin calls if Bitcoin's price drops below 21,000 US dollars, which is very possible. And I'm not saying, I'm not the one saying this. I mean, their CFO himself said about 3 weeks ago that if the price drops below that target, they will be forced to pony up more crypto to back up their current loan. And this idea of taking a collateralized loan by Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin is just a loop that will send them to hell if the price continues falling down to lower levels. I'm sure that all these companies have some kind of a backup plan, unlike Terra, but these backup plans are there so that these companies don't die. They don't have backup plans for you to make money. Their backup plans are for them so they don't end up with nothing. And the main reason I'm telling you this is because your average Andy thinks that if MicroStrategy goes bonkers tomorrow, they will do their best to save us. No man, that's not how capitalism works. They will save themselves and that's it. My thoughts are still the same. I do expect lower price levels on the macro scale, not necessarily now of course, but I don't see this bear trend slowing down anytime soon. Could we go back up to 33,000 US dollars before going down? Absolutely. I've said this multiple times already. It's very possible, and I would even say that it's actually likely. But macro, things don't change that easily. I might seem a little bit edgy today, but this is simply because I just checked my Twitter feed and I've seen these bullish tweets everywhere, which make no sense to me. So that was about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense to you. Thanks for sticking by till the end. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts on the market. Have a nice day and see you in the next video. Bye bye.